Hi guys. What do we got here? This cute little book, this little thin, half an inch little booklet by Stephanie Nile. Hope I'm saying the last name right, but I think I am. It's called Structuralism and the Plant Kingdom, Volume 1, Monocytes. Again, check it out, baby. The cover could be designed a little, like, I like most of the aspects of it, but it kind of just melts into itself. It's kind of, well, no, it's good. A little undecided on that. There's potential here. Because I like her model of how she sets up the kingdoms. It's like, it just kind of, she simplifies. I don't know if you could see this. You can also go to her website. If you type in her name, get a better view of her spelling of her name. If you type in her name, you could find her website pretty easily on Google. And what's cool about her is she's just very active. You can tell she's always blogging and putting stuff out, and she just has this really cool quality about how she puts this information together. Now the thing about this book is it's about $32. I don't know if I got my full value out of it, but if you're into homeopathy, this is definitely a book to get. I mean, even if this girl charged $50 for this book, it's worth it because she's doing research. You know, we don't get paid a ton in this kind of field. So, whatever money you could basically send her way to keep her work going, it's cool because this is pretty much an attempt of using the structuralism comes from this idea started by Jan Scholten, maybe even before him, but he popularized it at least, where we look at remedies or how we place remedies in the periodic table. And so in this case, this is the end of the periodic table. So we or not we, but in this case, she's attempting to place remedies from these different families into the different categories. So if you look at the carbon level here, right, she's placed Allis metalis. Silica is in the Magnolia Group. You have ferrum and silica. You got the polis, which is like, I guess, grasses. So, and it just goes on, and she lays it out with the progression of the table from like 1, there really isn't anything in 1 she's put, but to 17. Is it 18 spots or 17? Anyway, whatever. The point is, that's how she set it up. And or that's how the table's set up, and that's how she set it up, putting all these different families in this kind of like progression. And if anyone knows about the style of how that system works, there's kind of like a progression through the table from like being very childish and being born, being conceived, to becoming a child, becoming like an adolescent and an adult and a community leader and then like a leader of a society and a magician and all this kind of stuff, right? And I think all that stuff is very fascinating. And I think it also opens up the idea in homeopathy where we're not just looking at pathology, but we're also looking at the greatness that someone can achieve in a lifetime, their full greatness. So we have magicians, we have kings, we have workers, we have all these different levels that people are on, and we can kind of, I believe that each one of us can actually, it's like school, we can all slowly but surely transcend beyond these levels. And so another thing about this book is she basically goes deep into other people's writings and structuring systems to find a way of placing remedies like in a neat kind of system, hence the structuralism again. So there's this kind of like fascination and attempt in this book to do that. Now, some of the cool stuff I'm not the biggest fan I used to be of that kind of stuff, because I use my muscle testing techniques now that I developed in Homeopathy 3.0, or H3. But it's still a cool style, and it gives insights into, I mean, I still use these insights. I mean, there's this cool little area where she basically nails down, for example, in the carbon group, she says, carbon gives meaning and value to life. This also means self-esteem and dignity. If underdeveloped, they can be shy. A father's reassurance is vital. So what she did here, she put all these different kind of like non-metals, I guess you can call them. In the periodic table, so you have like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluoride, or fluorine, silica, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, bromium, iodine, into this kind of like setup here. And she just talks about each one of them in a little box. So let's just jump over to, let's say, oxygen now, right? So these are like the little valuable pieces that make all the difference, and why you should definitely check out this book. Lost sense of self-worth, lazy or burnt out. They can be selfish and possessive. Okay. So, and then there's just a lot of this kind of stuff. But what's also interesting here, for example, when we look at the magnoliads, I guess magnoliads, whatever, however you say that, however you say this word here, it's the Magnolia Group. If you look below here, she's got like this kind of breakdown of like the meaning of like kind of like the essence of the group. By the way, I put my own numbering here for the page to find it easier. I would highly recommend that if there's a next printing of this book, to do that. I'm really good at design principles like this, and that's just a simple fix, and it just makes finding the parts you're looking for in the book much easier. So pipe rails, there's excitement and fruitless effort. Laurels, there's lost and insignificant. Magnoliales, weak and disoriented. So, and then like the main heading is attention seeking here. So this could be very reductionistic in one way, but she goes on to explain what she's talking about through the different kind of provings and different, from different materia medicas and repertories and this type of stuff. And it's a cool book in that sense, and you get like a nice little kind of insight into the plant world through Stephanie's style. And the other thing here is she also covers remedies that you don't really get in Sankaran's book. Now the new book by Vermeulen with the plants, I don't have that yet, so I can't really make a judgment on that. But I have the books by Sankaran on the plants, insights into plants. And so this covers stuff that he doesn't cover. So that's pretty cool. You know, plants are the biggest, the largest area in homeopathy. Like as far as number of remedies, that's the largest area. I think minerals are next, if I'm not mistaken, and then animals. By the way, animals are the largest area that hasn't been just like the insects. Like there's thousands, and we only have like 10 or 20 insects. And there's just thousands and thousands and thousands of insects. And so we haven't even messed around with a lot of remedies that we can. Let's see if there's anything else that just stands out in this book. I mean, there's a lot of cool remedies you don't really hear much about in here, by the way, just to kind of shoot some out to you. Yeah, she's got all sorts of really interesting ways of outlining kind of like, mental characteristics and just different type of qualities. I got this one thing, I don't know where I got this from one of her, I think, blogs or something. It was how she just laid it out, and you could easily find this in the repertory, but like, the sanguine, the four kind of humors, sanguine, melancholic, chloritic, and what's that other one? Whatever it is, I forget. Man, what is it? There's four. Anyway, if you type in four humors, you can find it. So let's just kind of quickly just look at some of these remedies. Just again. Oh, Okay, I'll give you a good one. Garlic. Garlic is a cool remedy. Allium sativa, biostrategy. Garlic can reduce cholesterol and help prevent heart disease. It contains a number of sulfur compounds such as allicin, a natural insecticide, which is the source of garlic's characteristic taste. Used homeopathically to produce a feeling of restlessness with impatience, worse when alone. The mental picture is incomplete but seems to resemble arsenicum. Stage 15. Desires company, sensitive to moral impressions, sadness, discontented, everything. Gourmand. I don't know what that means. Anxiety, hypochondriacal, fear of being poisoned, fear alone of being, weeping in sleep, fear, death of, fear of death. Menorrhea, menses, acrid, excoriating. Urethra, pain, burning, urine, albumus or dark. Eyes, agglutinated. Nose, corsi. Larynx, scraping. So, let me just kind of go backwards here for a second. What do we got? Page 101. So the way she kind of outlines that whole, like the Aspergillus family, Aspergillus, I guess. I'm just butchering some of these names, but it's showy and sexy. And then above that is making the sexual connection as far as like the whole kind of group image here. So, she has these kind of little maps like that to just help us understand. But very cool book. I think a lot of these books, the more you kind of look at them, the more you access them, the more you read them, and then put them away. 6 months later, you've been reading all sorts of other stuff and using, different remedies and experimenting, and then boom, you come back and you look at it and go, oh, interesting insights, So, that's about it. Keep up the good work, Miss Stephanie.